Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Bishop, the Tier 5 British SPG. It's on the north spawn of Prokhorovka Encounter, and it's under the command of hossballs. Where you can see he's got 2 marks of excellence on the barrel. We've seen this Arty in action before, but the Prokhorovka map gives you the opportunity of hitting a lot of the enemy whilst they're capping, because frequently they will get into the cap and you have to reset it. Well, we just saw the Fifi fire behind us, and hossballs, while he's moving forward, now he's going to cross the railway line, or no, he's not. Okay, well, he's going to be staying on this side of the line, probably firing at the other side of the line. Okay, you don't want to go too far forward in this map, because otherwise that could actually hinder your ability to shoot at enemies in the cap area. Yes, the closer you get, the more likely that these railway wagons will actually prevent your shot, because instead of the shell having to go up and come down, it has to go horizontally, and if the shell's at a low angle, then there's a pretty good chance that it's going to hit the railway wagon instead. So the closer you are to your target, the more likely the gun has to be depressed rather than raised to hit the target. You must remember there's a maximum level at which the gun can be raised in the Bishop, and that was a problem that actually hindered the real Bishop in actually shooting at the enemy, because they could only raise it so far, so that meant that limited the range of the gun. And in order to increase the range of the gun, they actually had to park the Arty on an upslope to increase the angle, or the angle to the horizontal that the gun could actually fire at, or the howitzer could fire at. Well, so far, hossballs hasn't got a single hit on any of these enemy tanks. Fires one in at T28, who pulls back almost like the Matrix, knowing full well that a shell's on the way, and he avoids it. Our BT7's doing a good job but spotting, but unfortunately he has been hit. And well, if he keeps doing that, he more than likely will end up getting killed eventually. In battles like this, I used to delight in playing a light tank, running up and down the centre line in a figure of 8, trying to avoid enemy fire, and spotting for my team in the process. I'd rack up a huge amount of spotting assist, but the problem was that I could only do it for so long before one of the enemy tanks got lucky and hit me. Well, he's got a close shot at last, but he's still having a lot of difficulty. He's fired quite a few rounds without any success. Will he get it on the T6 medium? Nope. Still not getting there. Okay, that T28 seems to be fairly inactive in terms of he's just moving backwards and forwards slightly. Finally picks up some damage, only 100 hit points, but the T28's taken a lot of damage now, and can he finish him off? Just estimate where he's going to be. He's popping up again. These are good tank players because they do know how to remain unpredictable. They're rocking backwards and forwards in a very unpredictable manner, and that's how you avoid enemy fire. Oh, that was so close to taking out the T6. But he was killed by our T6 medium. Now, sadly, our BT7 was killed, so we've got no spotting anymore. In fact, actually, I did predict that he would eventually go down, and yeah, he did. We're looking at a Valiant on the other side of the battlefield. This should be a hit. Yeah, big one. He got 142 off that one, and the Valiant's such a slow tank, and he has been tracked. So the next shot's going to hit him as well. And this time round 111, and the Valiant is killed. So he gets, I think he got the damage assist as well. Did he? Or didn't he? Probably not, actually, because there's nothing showing. But at least he's got some damage on the table. Now we've got a Covenanter who's gone into that little bowl area on the west side of the map. I know a lot of tanks like to go into the bowl and do circuits in the bowl whilst they're spotting teammates, or spotting for their teammates. But just occasionally it'd be a little dangerous going into the bowl if there is an enemy too close to you. He's trying to get a shot on the Covenanter. Oh, it was fairly close, but the Covenanter did change course. He's also driving erratically, throwing off any enemy shells aimed at him. Now, as usual, the new signalling system that Wargaming has brought in is very confusing. At that moment, I think that was somebody requesting fire on the Covenanter. In actual fact, instead of actually somebody indicating that they're going to fire at him, in the past it was much more simple. If you had a request for fire, the little crosshairs would appear above a target, and then as soon as the Arty was responding, big down arrows would appear instead, saying I'm attacking. And at last he gets a shot on the move on the Covenanter. He's tracked, and he appears not to be repairing them. Will he get to fix them? No, he's gone, and unfortunately hossballs fires around him, which hits the wreck, but it's a wasted shot. Now, we don't have anybody on the east side of the battlefield at the moment, which is a bit of a problem, because it means that the enemy has access to the hill and they could get up onto it. But, well, our DSPZ's made a quick run all the way down to the south, and he's found the enemy griller, so it could be that the enemy are about to lose one of their Arties. They do have two, an M41 HMC as well, and he's probably over on the west side of the map. So while hossballs is aimed at these enemy tanks coming up the west side, going for the AMX-40, the duck. Nice big hit, 125, tracked him. The enemy's lost their griller. Fortunately, the AMX is still on the move, but he fires a leading shot in, which looks as if it was fairly close. This is the problem with being on this side of the map, on this side of the railway line, is because you are vulnerable to an enemy tank if they do manage to come up the west side. And now he's been spotted, and there is still an enemy Arty in play, the M41, who might be firing in this direction. Well, the Panzer IIJ's hit hossballs in the tracks. He's trying to get a shot on this guy. Nope. Didn't lead the target enough there. We've lost our Fifi. That Panzer IIIJ is going to come straight for hossballs now because he wants his Pascucci's medal. And he gets a close shot using this very unusual looking back at your own self, shooting somebody in the third person mode. I don't know of any other players who actually do use this mode because it's very, well, it's weird. it's a bit disconcerting. You're looking at yourself playing on a fairly big battlefield. Okay, there's only 4 enemies left, but there's only 2 on hossballs' team. Him and a 14 TP who's in the cap. Well, he's taken out the BT7, or no, T28, sorry. I read the wrong title there. Now he's got the duck that he fired at before coming towards him. Now that thing's got heavy armor, but HE does not respect heavy armor, and he's just taken that guy out as well. So he's got 3 kills now, and he's just lost the 14 TP, and here comes the enemy 14 TP. Oh, he misses him with his first shot, but will he be able to reload in time? The 14 TP is going to shoot at him. He misses with his first shot. He loads. Hits him for another shot. He's going to take some damage now. I think this 14 TP. Yes, he's taken a shot. He's going to go for it again. And he's taken another shot. And the enemy Arty's getting involved now. That 14 TP is a one-shot. Can he kill him? He's trying to back up while he's fighting. And he gets a hit, but it's not enough to kill the guy. And he's bouncing rounds now. The guy must have auto-aimed onto the hull. Go for it. Yes! And now it's Arty versus Arty, because the only enemy left is the M41, and he didn't move far enough and took some damage in the tracks from the M41 HMC. So that's quite a few shots that he actually received from enemy tanks. He's now down to just 121 hit points left. which makes him kind of a one-shot really for the M41 if he can land a shell on the bishop. But the question is, where is that M41? Is he over on the west side of the map? From the direction of fire, I think he is still over on the west side, which means that hossballs is the closest one to the cap area, and I think that's where he's going to be headed. Plenty of time to cap out, but it will force the M41 to come in and find him. Now, one of the good things about the 4.5-inch howitzer on this bishop is that it will do 450 alpha and penetrate 28mm of armor. It's got a burst radius of 2.2 meters. At close range, it's very deadly. And the M41 HMC is an open-top vehicle. If he hits him with a 4.5-inch round, that's sayonara for the M41 HMC, because he will die with one shot. He's decided to go into the back of the cap. The M41's probably looking for any damage that hossballs is making, but he's been very careful not to touch any of the scenery. And you can see the M41 is actually now firing in randomly, trying to work out where hossballs is. Now, the M41 more than likely will try and come to the cap area and try and stop the cap. The moment he does, we'll see that the cap counter will stop, and then we'll know he's within the cap somewhere. Now, more than likely, again, the M41 will try and hunt down hossballs by looking for him. And that may be fatal, because then hossballs can ambush him the moment he gets close with an accurate shot. The M41 also has a very long reload time compared to the bishop. hossballs' reload time is probably around about 10 seconds. Just slightly more than 10 seconds. But the M41 HMC's reload time is going to be about 23 to 24 seconds. So if he fluffs his shot, then hossballs gets 2 free shots at him at close range. The cap counter has stopped, so the M41 is in the cap. Just waiting for him to make his appearance, and then hossballs will finish him off. Can't see any destruction at the moment. We're looking for that telltale bits of scenery going up in smoke or into little dust. You can see them normally. It could be that he's actually waiting for hossballs to move towards him rather than for him to actually come and find him. Oh, here he is. He's been spotted and he is coming this way. And big hit! Wipes him out and wins the game. And potentially, well, I think it was a high caliber because the symbol came up. What a good play by hossballs. He waited in ambush, took the guy out. Very well played. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. It's an ace tanker for hossballs in the bishop, and this was a very good one. He also got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He ended up with 5, just 1 short of a top gun. He got a duelist badge for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, and that included the M41 HMC, who did manage to get a shot on target or near on target to splash him whilst he was engaging that 14 TP. Got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 17. A Starks medal because he killed at least 2 enemy tanks, took at least 2 shots from the enemy and lost about 2/3 of his hit points in the process. In fact, he blocked a few shots from the enemy, and of course those block shots count as well. And he got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game as well, and his win rate from that one was 8,856, which is super unicum and a bit more, and very good performance. Let's have a look at the team scores. 1,811 hit points of damage. The next high scorer being the T28 that he killed with 1,444, followed by the the Stug, who managed to get Stug 4, 1,247 hit points to him, and then Stug 3B on our team with 1,226. When it came to kills, it's hossballs had the top with 5 kills, but he shared it with the Stug 4 on the enemy team. He also got 4 kills for the Leopard. And when it came to base XP, yes, he's got the highest in that one as well. So top in all 3 columns, 892 to hossballs, 658 goes to the Leopard, And the next high score after that was the T28 with 443. He fired 32 rounds in that game, got 10 direct hits, 1 penetration, 19 splash. Damage of 1,811 hit points, of which 843 were up more than 300 meters. He received 8 hits from the enemy. That's a huge number to still be alive after 8 hits, only 4 of which actually penetrated, and 4 non-penetrations and 2 hits by way of splash damage. He did take a round from the Panzer IIIJ. He also took several rounds from that 14 TP and also the M41, who splashed him as well. 75 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 7 enemy vehicles damaged and 5 killed, and 124 hit points of damage assistance. He also managed to get 55 cap points whilst he was waiting for the M41 to turn up at the cap. On a free-to-play account, he earned 23,607 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply took away 14,015 credits. He got 892 base XP, and there was no multiplier, so that's all the experience points he took away from this one. But I thought that was a very good battle. It might have been easier for him to some extent if he actually was on the other side of the railway line, if he was on the east side of the railway line, mainly because if the enemy was going to try and get at him, they'd have to cross the railway line to find him first, and that would have given him the opportunity to see them before they could see him. And of course there were several places on the east side that he could have hidden, not just in the bushes right next door to the railway track, but a little further away, so that as soon as the enemy does come towards him, he can ambush them and take them out of the game. But as it was, yes, he did take damage, and he did have to fight for his life against the 14 TP and that Panzer IIIJ, but he came out okay. In fact, he does seem to have this knack of being able to still fight in third person in that very unusual way of still staying in battle assistant and watching himself as he shoots at the enemy from a distance. I know some people think that that may be quite unusual. It certainly is very difficult to do. I've seen it, but I don't think I could do it myself. But I do appreciate that he is trying to give us a good view of how he plays the game, and it seems to work for him, so can't knock it. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.